right, folks. Well, that is our recap of chapter 40. It's all coming to light. At this point, it's time for Kyrie to do the first question.
And for today says, I truly appreciated the way Malia's friend Eva and her sister stepped in to care for her after the situation with Chris. How important do you feel friends are in a time like this? Oh, extremely, extremely important. So crucial to have friends in a time like this. I mean, if Malia didn't have anybody, she would just be sitting there falling asleep in the shop by herself. You know, I mean, her and her sisters aren't close. You know, her parents are obviously, their minds are somewhere else. But you know, you got to have people that you can call on. That's just going to be there to support you when, no matter what it is. You know, it's very important that you have a good support system. So I was glad that we got a chance to see that Malia does have a good support system, but I think she needs to start leaning on them a little bit more.
So, I think, yeah, friends are very important to have when you are going through a crisis. And we all know personally, I need to suck into my little hole. But if I were to have some crisis like this is how my girls would have to step in, like by force. Shut up. Get your ass in that car. Lay down. Blah, blah, blah. Like, that's, and then up, you know, because I'm already spent, it's like, okay, fine. So I love how they did that because she was still trying to work. She was just like, okay, I got this, you know, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, nope, shut it down. So-and-so got this, with this, go to sleep, lay down, do whatever you got to do. But yeah, I mean, literally, I even went back to her place with her, like, to make sure. Like, no, you're not going to tell me you're going home and just block and come back, you know. So, yeah, I love how they did that because that's sometimes with certain folks, you know, who just want to work or just want to figure it out on their own. They need that support.
I agree with you both. I think that friends are extremely important to have. And I was thinking about, like, when you have a friend, not somebody you picked. When you have family, family's wonderful, it's beautiful, right? But that's what God put together, like, you know, through DNA and birth and last name and all that. But a friendship is something special, and you can have that with your family. I'm not taking away from that, but I'm saying a friendship is something that you're like, you cultivate that. It's like a garden, and you go out there and you plant seeds and you put the right fertilizer and all of that, and it needs to get enough sunlight. It needs, you know what I'm saying? Like, you have to protect the garden to make sure that it flourishes and it grows, and that's what a good relationship is. It's there are times when you can tell your friends things that you may not be able to tell your family. You know, sometimes you need a different perspective. Sometimes they feel like they know you so well that you're in a box, and that when you express yourself, like, I was raised in the same house as y'all. I don't know what you're talking about. People can be raised in the same house and have different experiences, or the experience touched them in a different way. And your friends being there, you know, they can just shine so much light. Like, my girls have shined a lot of light in areas that I didn't realize. They're like, no, Karina, because the way I saw it, and I'm like, and you know, and it made sense because they knew me, and they, you know what I mean? And so friends are extremely powerful to have in a situation where Malia is going through this. It's her being able to have her friends to lean on is something else, because she went to her graduation party after being chased and screamed at by Chris. You know, she didn't call her family up. She didn't say anything. She hasn't said anything to anybody. The only person who does know are her friends. So the way that Eva and her sister Ari, you know, showed up, they call their mom, like, yo, you made some of that one Korean soup this morning, right? Okay, we're gonna need that on deck. They took care of her. You know, Ari, you know, got a lift down there, and Eva had already set it up. Okay, I'm gonna drive Malia's car, you drive my car. We're gonna take her back to the plate, take her back to her place. We're gonna put her in bed, give her soup, just be there for her. And they spent the rest of the day, but they really bossed up. It was like, no, you need to go home. Was Malia's like, I'll just work through it. And it's like, that's when you know that you are dealing with a severe amount of trauma in your life where you've learned that no matter what happens, you can push right through it. I had somebody ask me a question about somebody, and they were like, how could she keep on working if she had just had a death in her family? How does that happen? And I said, for some people, they need to keep themselves busy. And you're like, well, I mean, if it was me, and I'm like, yeah, if it was me, I'd be up underneath the table crying too, because that's what I do, right? I'm gonna feel all this emotion, baby, from head to toe. You're gonna have to come get me, okay? But some people's way of dealing with their pain is like, I'm gonna work through it. I'm gonna keep myself very, very busy so they don't have to feel the pain to the intensity that they know that it can almost take them out. So for her to have her friend step in, like, no, we got you. Sarah, Eva made sure that Sarah was at the store to cover it, called in some other people to come cover the shifts, and she was there for her. She was there for her. It's really important for you to have people in your life who love you, care about you, appreciate you, protect you, and stand up for you and stand next to you as well. There was another thing on the podcast where Alicia, you were saying, I don't want to do this if I don't give you at least 90% of me, then I don't want to like bother people. And I feel like that's some of Malia's issue. If she can't be her best self at all times around people, then she doesn't know how to be around people. But when people truly love you, even when you don't feel like you're at your best, they see the best in you. You shine brightly, even in those vulnerable moments, even with tears in your eyes, even when you feel like, I just don't know what I'm going to do tomorrow. You feel so low to the earth. There have been times I felt like I had been walked on. Alicia's like, why are you always having somebody getting walked on? Because sometimes I feel downtrodden. I feel my spirit is contrite. I feel like I am on a dirt road and somebody has walked on top of me with all types of cows and horses and those little buggies. I feel like I had been pressed to the earth. Like, you can sometimes just feel so low. And it's nice to know that even when you feel so low, there are other people like, you're having a moment and I got you and they support you. So I love that about Eva and Ari coming to Malia's defense. And even though we see Malia needing to be rescued a whole lot in this story, I know that she really does. Though. That girl got problems. I know that if it was another situation going on and Eva needed her or Wendy or somebody else, like she would be right there for them too. So.
Elephant in the room has to be addressed, period. Where the hell are Malia's parents? Why weren't they called? I did kind of wonder. Her dad. We all know how we feel about Frank, but I did kind of wonder like why she didn't call her mother. I know her mom, is about getting that bag, but to know that your daughter is going through some mess, and yeah, I can't call. I don't know. That has to be a jacked up feeling, but I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know how I'm thinking about it from a parent's point of view. Like if it was my daughter or something, I'd be like, you really feel like you can't come to me? But she tried to keep that from everybody or anybody who didn't know, right off the bat. She wasn't, announcing her issues like, hey, this is what's going on with me, blah, blah, blah. She's putting her best face forward. And maybe she feels like they wouldn't support her in the way she needs. Or, they could try and get too active, even if it's Frank. I know, yeah, I don't know, but I did wonder why she wouldn't at least, hey mom, I'm going, especially, just as girls, sometimes we bomb. And so, yeah, I don't know. I don't know why she felt like she couldn't tell her mom. I already know why she didn't tell Frank, but I don't know why she didn't at least go to her mom. So
Um, well, from what I've seen of Sandy's character, she seems to be the one that would have had the response. Girl, ain't nobody stalking you. Like you're overthinking it. Like like did you do something? Did you flirt with him? I feel like Sandy would have gave her that response. And then how much money he made, where he work at. It would have been that whole conversation. It was like, Mom, I'm trying to tell you something serious. Like, can you? I'm like, he sent me some dead rats. Like, dead rats, girl. What are you talking about? Girl, you sound crazy. Send me a picture. Like I don't feel like Sandy would have taken it the way she needed to take it. Like Alicia said. And then on the flip side, Malia knows that if she called Frank, he would have been there because we've seen that in the thing. Like, oh, Chris is trying to take the one person from me that would have did something, but because of the situation between them, she doesn't feel comfortable calling him. She doesn't want Daddy to show up. Call her father. Because if they weren't in the situation, she probably would have. She probably didn't want to, but like, Dad, there's a situation here. And she knows that Daddy would have came and saved his baby girl, or put in some calls to somebody to get that handled. Because they're connected in Rose City, so they know people who know people who know people. So yeah, I feel like that's why she didn't involve her parents.
I agree. I was like going through the questions. I'm like, that's a good question. Like, why didn't somebody call and tell her parents what's going on? Because Eva called Chan. But I think it goes back again to Malia's not close with them. I think maybe at one time they were pretty close. But the whole money that's been stolen, Sandy acting like she ain't got no kind of time for this because she's dealing with the wedding of the century and she's not worried about Malia and her money. We'll figure that out later. Like her mom hasn't stepped to her and been like, let's have a conversation with you and Daddy. Let's figure this out. Everybody's off in their own world, and I feel like she really feels unprotected at this point. I feel like a lot of times it would be nice to go run to your family and say, "Oh, I'm in need of this or help." Like it's something where you can't call your own family, and we've talked about that where it's like if you needed $20, baby, I can't call these people. I can't. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. Because that would have meant that I'm losing everything and my car got repoed and the house is behind on a payment. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, it becomes bigger than it's supposed to be, all because you're like, oh, yeah, I get paid. Can I just borrow? No. Mm-mm. Some people have never been raised in a loving environment where they could safely depend on others. You could depend on others, but baby, what's it going to cost you? Am I going to have to hear about this for the rest of my life? Like Kyrie said, Sandy probably would have been somewhere talking about send me a picture. I want to see what it looked like. Or you probably overreacted. It sounds like he does taxidermy. I mean, that's nice. I mean, okay, but he's a barista, so he don't make no money. But I mean, at least you're flattered, that he went, what? Like mom, you know what I mean? And so, yeah, I don't feel like maybe she doesn't feel like her parents care enough to like protect her. I mean, people still out here riding hardcore for Mike. Now, do they know that Mike just called her and cussed her out? No. But if she called her parents and told, like, Mike called down here, baby, he talked real wild to me. Sandy would be like, Malia, he's going through a lot. He just has a big transition ahead of him. I mean, his marriage ended. He's not able to be with his daughter. I mean, how would you feel if you were parted ways with your daughter? Girls need their fathers. He has a new job. He's back at home. He's a lot of responsibilities. And he came after you, Malia, and the way you treated him was just horrible. You embarrassed him at that club opening. Like, so she knows. She doesn't really have a lot of sympathy because her mom's like, you're going to do what I tell you to do. Or, she would have pulled a kitty. It would have been like, now, if you would have did what I told you to do, the devil wouldn't be sending this boy Chris to come up after you. See what I'm saying? And that was one of the reasons as I got older, I said, and y'all laughing because y'all know it's real. Every single time that we didn't do something we were supposed to do, this is your fault. And now the devil's using that person to come against you because you was talking smart. Oh, yeah, you little fast cow. I got called a fast cow all the time. You just fast out here. That I don't even leave that house. Okay. But anyway, yeah. So the devil now is using people against me because I won't submit to my parents. That's what I'm not going to hear. I'm not going to let you know that wouldn't happen. See, because I was praying about that, and God told me that stuff was about to get hard for you because you don't have no respect for me. I'm not going to hear that. So I think that's why Malia didn't call her family. I don't feel like she feels safe. You need to feel safe in asking for help. There are people who you have to ask yourself. Everybody who ends up homeless isn't homeless because their family members didn't let them in. Some people ended up homeless because they didn't trust the people around them. Like I'll watch these like little documentaries about how people became homeless and their family members like, we didn't know this person lived on the street for 10 years. We just thought that they were just didn't want to, deal with the family. And then there was like a whole reuniting thing and the people look completely, totally different. And the family's like, if we would have just known. Um, but people have to feel safe to be able to say that to you. I don't feel like there's a safety net there. I think Eva has seen Malia's family act very nonchalant and vicious all at the same time. It's very passive aggressive. So I believe that she's like, nah, she ain't gonna want her mom involved. But I do need to tell her boyfriend because he might get out here, saying, and kick some tail for us and make this dude go away. So, that kind of thing. All right. The next question is mine. It says, I am still pissed off at the way Mike called down to the store and spoke to Malia and Eva. Her day was bad enough without him making matters worse. Do people in Rose City really not know how he behaves? Someone must know. Nobody cares. It's not about do they know how he behaves. He falls into alignment with everybody else. He's doing what they do. They know how Mike is, but because he's high valued, he can get away with these things. He's a six-figure man, or more than that, because he's a trust fund baby. His family has some pretty deep pockets. But because of who he is and his grandfather being involved with some oil wells and they're stacked, he can act how he wants to act. He has a license to misbehave. So yeah, people in Rose City know who Mike is. And at the end of the day, people are like, Malia, you ought to be happy. Somebody of his caliber. He's interested in little old you. Like, I mean, you cute, but you ain't like cute. Like, it's other women who look better than you. So like the fact that he wants you, I mean, so jealous. So jealous. I wish a Mike wanted me. Like, that's how people treat Malia. They know how he acts. People are like, he fine, looking like Tyler. Okay. He got money. Like, what's the problem? Like, what are we doing? Oh, there's a lot of problems. Okay. Just being fine, having money is not the end all be all. He doesn't know how to treat nobody. So, okay, what are your ladies' thoughts?
Yeah, I definitely think you. Mike is walking around with "Who gonna check me, boo" on his forehead. So, and it don't help that he the ADA, and he has ties in this community. So usually when you're a higher up and you got ties in the community from way back, like everybody got a little dirt on everybody, So people are very cautious in who they step to because they got some skeleton in their closet. They're not trying to let come out and be exposed. So outside of nobody cares, like Karina says, people got their own things to protect too. So they're like, I'm not gonna ruffle these feathers. It is what it is. I'll let him handle that, and I'm gonna mind my business. So
Yeah, people don't know how he behaves. He's one of people, I assume, puts his best face forward and is a monster behind doors. He seems to have it all together. He has the career, he has the looks, I'm sure he knows how to talk to people. But that last line, someone must know. If I was Malia, I'd be shouting it from the rooftops. Like, this man is a asshole, and I mean every letter of that word. Or do some type of recording or something like that, and to get leaked. Like, folks need to know this man is a whole monster. And yes, I agree. I'm pissed off at the way Mike called. Yeah, he is the audacity for me. Like, they already together, and she messed up. But yeah, he's full of himself. That's that's how he is. He's the head honcho. He's the king around there, and he just can't believe he was humiliated the way he was. And yeah, she didn't need any of that. She didn't need any of that And I'm glad that Eva stepped in for her a little bit, try to like talk to him, even though he went off on them, both of them. But yeah, people don't know. They don't know how he really is, obviously, or he wouldn't have the respect that he does have around Rose City. So.
I think they would respect him even if they knew he got like that. They'd be like, he's tired. He's got a lot going on. He's busy. He's stressed, And when men are under stress, they lash out. Don't take it personal. This is just a part of what's expected. He has a title. He's important. He's special. Even knew because Malia had told her, but she had never seen it firsthand. A lot of times, people get like wild and active, but to see it is just like, okay, firsthand. That's pretty crazy. But he had no respect for Eva. He tore into her and talked crazy to her. And I'm like, this is what we're not going to do. Okay. It's bad enough that you thought that you could come for me. The moment you disrespect my girls, Jesus. Jesus, oh my God, and Jesus some more. Because we would have pulled up on him. You think, oh, you talking all that? Okay. All right. I'll be there in 10 minutes. Everybody was kung fu fighting, baby. I'm telling you, I would have pulled up on Mike so quick, he would have got it. Like, he would have been like,
Kicks fast as lightning.
as I'm, you know what I'm saying? I would have hurt him bad. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to disrespect me.
Right.
And I cannot allow you to disrespect my girls. We're just not doing it. Go ahead, Alicia.
Oh, no, you said kung fu fighting, and then I finished the rest of that song, Kicks as Fast as Lightning. All right, I'm being stupid. Okay.
I definitely agree with you, Karina. They would have found a way to justify his actions, no matter how ugly he was acting. And then they would have roped her into it. He never really got over you. You broke his heart, and he was never the same after you didn't fight for him. I know he married somebody else, but he really wanted to be with you, and you just didn't come back. They would have found some way to make it her fault. How many times have we seen that? So either way, Malia would have been doomed.
I was watching something a couple of days ago. What was it? I don't even remember. I was watching something a couple of days ago, and they were talking about how if a man shows interest in a woman, we have to validate their feelings. And this woman was like, how many times have I shown interest in somebody? They didn't validate me or let me down, gently. And she was like, why do we have to proceed with caution? Now, I'm not advocating destroying nobody's feelings. Like, you just tear them down, just break them down a little bit, because I feel like it takes a lot for you to I think, I come off as wild, and I am, but I do have a heart. But I think that, like, it takes a lot to build, whatever, curiously. I don't know about that heart part.
No, shut up. You be like, I come off as wild. I come off as wild, but I am.
I am, but I have balance in my life. Yeah. I'm pretty balanced with my wildness, I know when to turn it on and I know when to turn it down or off, because you have to be able to function in the real world. Yeah. I don't even know what I was saying now, so I'm going to be done. I do believe that they would have been like, you hurt him. Wait a minute. He cheated on me for 2 years and y'all all knew about it, kept it quiet, kept the secret real hush until it was announced, 2 weeks before he got married, he was getting married. And I'm the villain. I'm the villain. Like, okay, so I do feel like they're like, he married her, but it wasn't, he did it because he wanted to align his future. He thought it would be a better fit, but he made a mistake. Why can't you understand that? Why do I have to sit over here like an old pack of top ramen? Like, why do I have to do that? Why do I have to do this? Why do I have to understand that he made a mistake? Sometimes you make a mistake and there's no going back. I will not be that shrimp top ramen over there just sitting over there in pink. Like, one of these days, somebody gonna come get me. Like, no, top ramen can last for a long time on the shelf. Malia is not gonna be sitting on the shelf. Like, shrimp top ramen, that's a good flavor. She's not gonna be waiting around for nobody. Somebody's gonna put some vegetables, honey, and some extra broth and some real shrimp in that.
You ain't gonna be treating me like I'm some old pack of top ramen. That's gonna be saying now. Chan seems to be frustrated with Malia since it seems she won't run to him when she has a problem. Do you think Malia is too independent for a relationship? I mean, being too independent, you need to be independent, but Malia does need to learn how to be a little vulnerable. And she'll possibly get there. It depends on how Chan acts, because you can't just be vulnerable with everybody. So it's still early in the game. Her and Chan just met, so she doesn't need to just be vomiting all this stuff. This is what happened since I was 5, and then this happened and that happened. You can't do that. You got to take baby steps. And then Chan has to know himself approved. Do you deserve this information? What are you going to do with it, after I give it to you? So, she'll get there. If Chan, is does what he needs to do and shows her that he can be there for her in times of need and listen to her and respect her when she says, this is what I want and this is what I need. And he doesn't step all over her feelings. And then she's like, wait a minute, So, yeah, I think she's as independent as she's had to be in her life. She chose to rise to the occasion instead of falling apart. So until it comes into her life that can say, okay, you can relax a little bit. I'm here to support you. You don't have to do everything anymore. She needs to be right where she is. So.
I agree. 100%. And no, I don't think she is too independent for a relationship, because as soon as, Chan like showed any interest, she was all for it. Like, yeah, she didn't like push him away, like, no, I don't need no man and nothing like that. So I don't think she's actually, I know she's had like what, 5 years or something like that. She was waiting for one to come along. So she still had that door open to be in a relationship. As far as Chan being frustrated, I read that thinking like, he wants to be that knight in shining armor, almost like he needs her to be that damsel in distress and come to him and, lay everything out. But he doesn't understand yet that, like Kyrie said, they're not there yet. They're just starting this out. I feel Malia probably, she needs to know that, he will not necessarily take care of things, but maybe take her serious. And, well, no, he takes her serious. I'll think of the right words. But yeah, this is still, fresh in the relationship. They're not there to where it's like, babe, I need to let you know everything going, all my problems, even this is one I think she should have went to him with, eventually she did. She broke down and was like, hey, this is what's going on, blah, 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 because she was scared. And so she probably is looking at him like, okay, can this man be my protector? Is he gonna protect me? And let's see. So yeah, that was a 2-parter, but I don't think she's too independent. She can hold her stuff down. Obviously, that's what she's done, but she still had that door open. So no, I don't think she's independent.